Hello everyone. In this tutorial video, we will discuss about Workday HCM. Workday HCM is a cloud-based human resource management software solution that brings together a variety of HR functions into a single platform. The topics we will cover in this video are Inbound EIB, View Integration System, Core Connector Integration, How to build a core connector, Connect the integration with external system, Build a document transformation, Document transformation, the core connector business process, and run the core connector and document transformation. Before we start the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started.
So today we are going to discuss again on EIB, and this is going to be a quick one, guys. The reason is this is inbound. Inbound is rather easy than outbound. Okay, why? So let's look into that. The task is same, create EIB. And also I wanted to update you. You would have received the documents, right? Because an email was sent to me that it has been updated. So did you guys check it, whether you received it or not?
Yeah, it was uploaded.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. Right. So let's create an inbound. Now, what is the inbound that we discussed?
Yeah, means when any data we take from other system to into Workday.
Right.
When
So
we import.
yeah, so we are getting the data into Workday. So that is inbound integration. So a third party will send that to me. So here I put the name of the EIB. So I put WDE7_EIB_IB. IB stands for inbound. Okay. And then in this, we are going to use web services. Now, what are web services? So Workday has given almost all the web services. Okay. And you will search it on Google, you will get it. Workday Web Services directory. So when I get into it, you see all these modules are there, and every module has some or the other web services which is available. Now, if you try to get into maybe human resource, which is for HR, and then you see all these are web services which helps. Now, with this web services, what are we going to do? We are going to use one of these web services for our work. So if you remember, get and put, right? You see that you have different web services like add, change, edit, get, right? And then when you go ahead and look into put, you see that put committee type, put disability, put ethnicity. So all these web services are actually used for inputting the data, inserting the data, right? So I can go ahead and find location. This is the most important one, because generally what happens when you move from one of the systems to another system, which is maybe a third party to Workday, then what is going to happen? You need a structure. Structure basically means you need a system which can actually give all that information to you. So what are the fields which are required? All those information you will be getting from this web services. So when I open this, if I open this, this is going to be completely in XML format. You see this? Put location request. Now, if I look into it, you see, this is completely XML, right? Now, this is used for coding purpose. Now, we would not use it in EIB. We would not use this particular one, but we should know what web services are there, because the same web services we will be able to see here on the UI also. Okay, so that is what I will be showing you now. So I got the name, the ID is automatically generated, and then I'll go ahead and click on next. Now here it will ask, from where do you want to get the data, right? As we got the place, right, where in the outbound, you remember, we had Amazon Web Services and all the other things. Here also you have the same part. So we have already understood it, that how exactly that data will come. Now, here also I'm going to use attach file at launch. Now, from where this file is going to come? This file is going to come from Workday first. We will generate a template which will contain all the field and the, you can say attributes, that what are the mandatory fields and how exactly that field looks like. And that same template, we will send it to the third party. It's like an Excel template. And they will fill in the data and they will send that file back to us. So once we receive that file, we will use the inbound integration. Now, this is automated in case I use any of the other options like Amazon Simple Storage, FTP, Google Drive, REST URL, or anything. Okay. Because the file will be there, and because we can schedule it, right? We can schedule to run the integration, that when we schedule it, that schedule will check if the file is there, then that will insert it. If the file is not there, then it will not do anything. Okay. So I'm using this option, attach file at launch. And then it comes to data format. Now you see this option, web service spreadsheet template. If I click on this, there are two options. Either you use the web service spreadsheet template or you use custom object spreadsheet template. We don't have any custom object, so we will use web service spreadsheet template. And now what is the web service that we are going to look into? We will say, I want to insert location. Let's say you're moving from PeopleSoft to Workday and you have 10,000 locations you want to update in Workday. So just imagine if you have to do that manually, how much time and resource is going to cost you. So for those purposes only, you have this integrations, right? So web service operation, I've selected put location. Now it will ask me for transformation again, guys. So as I stated, every integration needs a transformation. There we did that using Workday transformation. Now here you see, it asks me which model you want to select. Because I'm using web service spreadsheet template, I will have only one option, which is template model. So what does that mean? I will generate a template and then send it to a third party for filling in that information. And then when they send the data to us, we will insert it. So it says template model, which is put location. Now for all this, we don't do any value because it's for custom object. I'll click on next. Now it says, how is that value going to be delivered to us? So this will be done through Workday web service operation. And what is that web service? Put location web service. That is what we are going to use. So I've shown you what is put location web service, right? So this is the put location web service, and we have seen the code. So that code runs in the backend. We will not be able to see that. And then I'll go ahead and click on next. This is the easier way of doing it rather than using the code. Okay. So anybody who is not from a coding background can also go ahead and use this, and they will be able to insert the data. So this is again the summary, everything that we have seen. Okay, I have got it. I've got all the delivery options as well. Now I'll say, I'll go ahead and click on OK. So as soon as I'll click on OK, my integration is created. Now, what is the next step? My next step is to generate the template for the third party, because they need to fill in the data and send it back to us. So how do we generate the template? We'll click on actions, and then we go to the template model, because this is what we have selected. And then we have generate spreadsheet template. So it gives you two options. You want to use XML or you want to use Excel. So if I had to use XML, I could have done it from here itself, right? Why would have I created the, EIB? So this is better to use Excel, and then go ahead and click on submit. So now you will see the integration will run. So basically this is running just to give you that template file. So this will give you the structure of the complete location object. You see, you got the notification that this file is available. I'll just refresh it and I'll get it here also. You see output file, right? So if I click on this, I have my template. So I will use this. So when I open it, you see what is it going to give it to me? Have you seen these fields anywhere? Are you able to recollect it from where you have seen these fields?
Yeah, while creating location, we will have this.
Yes. So when you create location, you have location name. You see it is required, right? And it is required here also. And then the location usage where we add like business site or all these things, and it says required, you may have multiple values, right? So let's enable the editing. Now, let's say I'm adding WDE7 underscore Mumbai. Okay, and the usage, I'll say business site. And if you look at the fields, you will have all the type of values that you want. You remember location type, attribute, superior location, latitude, longitude, altitude, time profile, right? All these things are important. Now, if you want to fill that data, it is fine, but it is not mandatory. It is not required because it's an optional field. So if you look at the attribute, so it's an optional field. So for integration, you can use it. If you don't want to use it, it is fine because it is optional, right? So you got WDE7 Mumbai, and this is business site. Now, if you want to add more values, you can do it. There is no restriction, and I'll save it. I mean, because I just want that to give you a demo. So I'm giving you a demo with one value. But let's say if it is 10,000 values, you have to input the 10,000 values with all the related information. The vendor will send that file to you. Now, once this file is ready, what I have to do? So I'll go back to the integration now. WDE7 underscore EIB underscore IB. I got this. Now, as soon as I will run the integration. So for running the integration, it's the same process. What you have to do is click on actions, go to integration and launch it. Okay. So inbound, outbound, EIB, both runs in the same way. And then you have got option. You want to run now or you want to schedule it, you can do that. Now, as soon as you click on OK, it will ask you where is that integration attachment which you want to actually, insert it into Workday. So that file becomes very important for us. Why? Because if you don't have data, how will you actually send it? So here we are going to create that integration attachment, and you will need to upload that file. So this was the file that we used, put location 2, and now it says successfully uploaded, and now click on OK. So this is still not inserted. It has just been uploaded in the integration. If it was an automatic file, it will automatically pick that file from that particular location where you have pointed out. And then what are the other parameters that you have? You see this, put location web service, load error limit, validate only load. So you got the unlimited error that, okay, whatever the number of errors you have, just give it to me. And now this option, it says validate only load. Now, what does that mean? So it means that I have got my file and I want to test whether the data which I have received, if it is correct or not. If the data is not correct, then you will have to. Option is I can just check it. So what will it do? It will only validate the run and it will not insert the file. Although you will get a message successful, but it will not insert the value. So this is just for testing purpose. Okay. But I will not do that. I'll go ahead and click on OK. And now the integration will start running. So here I'm not going to get any output file. It may complete in maybe 6-7 seconds itself because there is only one value, right? Let's see. So I'm waiting for the message that whether it was successful. It got completed, right? So let's look at it. See, all records loaded successfully, right? There was only one, so it took so less time. As the record increases, as the value increases, this integration will start taking time, guys. Okay, so this is how your inbound integration works. Was it easy? Automatic, it is just that you have to select the path and schedule the integration on that particular time. It will automatically do everything. You don't have to do anything. So based on that, you will get a notification whether it was successful or it failed. If it failed, then you will get the notification here. How you got the notification for that template, right? And then how you got the location, the information that all records were successfully loaded, right? So that's the only difference between manual and automation. That's it. We don't have anything more. Right. So how do you do that? You have to set up the business process. So when you go in the advanced integration, you will learn how to use business process in all these type of integrations. But I will still give you an idea because you know business process now. Okay. So if you go into this integration, you can set up the business process as per your requirement, and setting up a business process is exactly the same. That will not change. So if you remember, when we were setting the business process, there you have an option. You used integration. You see this option? Create copy or link definition. So when you use this, you can create whatever business process you want, you can do it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this is the use of automation. Business process is a workflow. And when you need a workflow that, okay, I need an approval process, I need other things. So you have to set up that business process. And when you set up that business process, your security will come into picture. The right role has to be given to the right person. So all those things you have to do. And this will be somewhere in any organization. It cannot be just independent of organization. So if there is a role involved, that means a role-based security group will be involved, and that role has to be given to somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, guys. So this was about EIB inbound and EIB outbound. So these are the processes that you have. How do you set up the inbound EIB and outbound EIB? Okay. So guys, this core connector document has 4 steps in that. Okay. Now, if you remember, I stated that core connector is also an integration which we generally use to send the data out of Workday. We don't use it for inbound generally because EIB is better than using core connector. Now, if I have to send the data outside, what we have to do? We have to build a core connector. Now, core connector is another template which is given by Workday, and it is already there in the tenant. So I have to use that template. So when I use that template gives me different services, and those services are dependent upon the template. So I'll show you the template, and that template will give you options that from where you want to pick the data. It will give you all these sources from where you can get the data. So it becomes very easy to pick and choose because all that will contain all the fields and you don't need to create any report or anything. So from there, you will pick the data automatically. The challenge with Core Connector is the output of Core Connector is going to be a XML document. Now, if it is an XML document, ideally there is no challenge because that is the most used format, globally accepted format. But there may be a possibility that any of your customer or the vendor to whom you have to send the data may not have upgraded their system, and they would say that, no, please send me the data in CSV or text file or PDF or anything. So what you need to do is you need to do that transformation manually here. So that is the only challenge with Core Connector. Now, when we say that we have to do the manual transformation, what does that mean? Manual transformation means we have to write a code. But ideally, you would not get this scenario because everyone has upgraded their systems to the latest one and they all understand XML very nicely. Okay, so let me build that integration first of all. Let me show you the output and then we will see how we can do the transformation. Okay. All right. So for creating Core Connector, there is a different task altogether. It is called as create integration system. This is the task. So here we have the system name. So what we are doing here is we are going to create an integration system. So integration system. So I'll say WDE7 underscore Core Connector and I'll extract Core Connector worker data. So CCW is a Core Connector worker template, which is already present in the system. Now here you see this is a comment, is a text box. I'll scroll it down. Like you have the report tags, here also you have integration tags. And now this is the place where you find those Core Connector templates. So if you look into this, you will have all the integration templates here, right? So if you just keep on searching, you will be lost. So whatever we have to do, we just need to type in Core Connector worker. I'm getting error because spellings are wrong. Okay. So I'll use this option, Core Connector worker, and I'll go ahead and click on OK. As soon as I'll click on OK, I'll get the services, guys. See, there are 28 services. Basically, we call it as integration services, which is provided by this template. Now, it is not necessary that you enable all these services, but if you want to, you can. There's no restriction. But I would say, no, don't enable it because it will make your Core Connector to run very slow. So only the things which is required. See, the first thing which will be enabled automatically will be your initialization, initial service to invoke, that is worker ESB services. So with this help of this particular service, we will be able to start our integration, Core Connector integration. Now, what you see here is data initialization services, exception logs, performance logs, stack performance log, right? Date launch parameters, maps, integration configuration. These are enabled by default. Even if there is no checkboxes, you see there, right? That will be enabled by default. You cannot remove it. Okay, because these are logs which gives you the exact details which will be required for troubleshooting in case you raised a ticket with Workday. Workday will ask you that can you run the integration and give me those log files for my revision or review. Okay, so that always gets enabled. Then what exactly we need to enable here? So we need to enable, you see this option? From here, you are getting the worker data. Okay, so it's optional, but I will enable all of them. Profile photo, personal data sections. Now you see, with one connector, I'm able to get all the worker related information. See the status data, I'll enable it. Position data, I'll enable those fields. Contract data, leave of absence. So my attendance and leaves are also coming here. Compensation data, okay. And then I've got identification, no government IDs and other identification proofs. You have related personal data section. You can enable that. Qualification data. So if I'm enabling it, what does that mean? I can pick and choose the fields from these many data sources. And now I'll go ahead and click on OK. As soon as I'll click on OK and it will process, it will give me an error. You see, it will say that you have enabled the services. There are integration attributes enabled, but you have not assigned a value, please use this option to complete this. So this is where my configuration of the core connector would start. Okay. So I need the data that needs to be sent to a third party. What I will do, what data is required, I have to pick that value. But before that, I have to make some setup. So for that purpose, I have this option which says configure integration attributes. So here I will have to give the file name. It's a tag basically. Output document tag. And I'll have to put the file name here. Just scroll it down. Okay, and I will put that as output document. Oh, so sorry. Okay, I got this because it's already available. I'm getting it. You want to create, you can. Now, the other option is version required for launch. So this is important. If you don't enable the version, then it will not run the integration, because in which version you want to run this core connector, you have to specify. So the latest version which you have is 34. Earlier it was 25. So now you have 34. So this version is of core connector, not your Workday, guys. Okay. So this is where you have to put that value. And if you just scroll it down, you will see the output specifies the format of the file to be generated by the integration. By default, it is XML. You can't change it. There's no option. If I go version 24, 22 and others, I had an option to send the data in Excel. But if you change that version, and let's say, there are fields which has come in the latest version, you will not be able to send those data to the third party. So it is always preferred that you use XML and use the latest version. Now, as soon as I'll go ahead and click on OK, the error would have gone. That would not be there anymore. So that error is not there. Now, the next part is what I have to do. I have to go into the integration system again, and then I have to choose the fields, that which fields I need. And then I'll get all the sections which we enabled. You see, all these sections we have enabled, and I have got that. So whatever data field is available in these sections, you are going to get it. Include all fields in output. There are only two things. The image of the person, because this is worker photo. That's what I remember. Yes, worker profile photo. So here are only two things, the file name and the image. I don't need it. Now in the personal data sections, you will have, you see 74 items, right? If you just want to enable all, you can just check it. Every field will be enabled, and you will start getting the data for everyone. Okay. Yeah, I can just use that for the moment. And then worker status data, you have 45 fields. Don't use everything, otherwise the integration will be so heavy. Position data sections. Let's say I want to include business title. Okay. And then leave of absence or compensation. Let's use compensation. Total annual base pay, total base pay, right? Right. So now I don't need anything more. So I'll go ahead and click on OK. But I've shown you, right? You can go into each sections and try to get the fields that you need. Now I have configured two things, integration attributes and field. Now there is an eligibility that also is required, guys. Why is this eligibility required? Because if you don't configure the eligibility, you will get the data for all the employees. Why would you need data for all your employees? You're retired, terminated. No, I don't need those. So for that purpose, you have this option, configure integration field override. So here we will set up the condition that I need the data for, you see this option says eligibility criterion. Used to determine whether the worker is eligible for inclusion in the integration output, the field should return a Boolean value. and I'll say, give me the data for only active employees. I don't want for everybody, but only for active. So I will check this box. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and click on OK. Now, basically my integration is done. My core connector integration is complete. Let me show it to you. So it says process of building a core connector. So it says create integration system, put the name of the integration, finalize what type of core connector you have built, example core connector worker. So I've just documented each and every step what I have done so that it becomes easy for you. Now it says, select the services and data sections you need to be in the core connector. How? Go to related action, integration system, configure integration attribute. Then it's asking to change the version or put the version. So you see output document tag as output document, click OK. Go to related action, integration system, configure integration field attribute. Here, it asks you to put all the fields that you want in your output file of the XML. And then finally, put the eligibility criteria. How? Go to integration system, configure integration field override, and you have got the eligibility criteria. Okay. Now, the fact is, I have done the configuration, but how do I connect it to the different system? Right? So for that purpose, again, I have to go into the integration system. And then you have this option which says edit subscription. So subscription is your connections. You have to build that. Right? See this. I don't want to subscribe to any of this, but I want to build my own. Now for that purpose, you have the notification URL, the username, password, and verify password. So you have to put that value, and then it will say from where you want to get the data, whether you want to get it from production, sandbox, implementation tenant, or these are the tenants that is available. So whatever the tenants will be available to you, all those will be available here. So you want to get it from production or sandbox, it is just for testing or anything, you can do it. But the fact is, you should have a proper URL, and this URL is for your vendor because you're going to send the data to them, and the username and password, right? So I'm not going to use it, but I just explained you how you can use it for the moment. Okay, so let it come back. Now my integration is ready, as I stated, right? That my core connector is ready. Now, if I want the output in XML format, I don't need to do anything. I just need to run this integration. How? Again, go to integration and launch it. And as soon as I will run the integration, I'll start getting the output files. Because there are multiple values here, what I'm going to do is I'll run a full file. You see this? It says launch parameters, right? So you saw that while enabling the permissions, it was automatically enabled as I stated. Then you have the moment, as of entry moment, effective date, last successful as of a moment, right? You want to put that values, you can, but not necessary. Then it says you want to get the data for specific workers, then you can put that value also, that you know which particular worker you're looking for. Or you're looking it for specific organization, maybe a sub organization or a cost center or a region or a location, you can find that here. And then you want the full file, then check this box. And then I'll go ahead and click on OK. So as soon as I will run this integration, I'll start getting the output files here, but it will take time. It is not that easy because core connector takes a long time. It is not going to process the things quickly because at the back end, there is a code running. Okay. And that is going to convert all the data and everything into XML format, and then it will give you the data. So it might take some time to refresh. You see, you started getting output files. So let it load. If it gets only 3 files, that is fine. If not, then let's wait. Now, I wanted to take you to that website from where you can learn XSLT. So if you remember, as I stated, that XSLT is something which you would need in a longer run, right? So XSLT is the language which helps you in transforming the XML into a different format. You see this option, XSLT. So XSLT basically stands for Extensible Style Sheet Language, which can help you to transform. So it says XSL transformations, Extendable Style Sheet Language Transformation, right? So there are hardly 10 to 15 tutorials in this. If you really have interest in coding, you can learn it for free. There is no charges at all, guys. Okay. And it is not only giving you, the material, but also it gives you online editor that you want to practice. You can write the code and you can practice also. It says try it yourself, right? So you can do that. So in this section, you see, this is my XML document, right? And what it is going to do, it is going to convert that into HTML. That's the reason it has converted. So if you want to use it, you can do it. You can learn from here. And as I stated, it is completely free of cost. You don't have to pay anything to anybody. Okay, so let me show it to you. How exactly does that work? So if I just go ahead and try it, you see this? This is my XML code, right? So it's very big at the moment. But I want this data to become in a HTML format where I can display it on a site. So for that, I'll write XSLT code. This is the XSLT code. This is enough, right? So what does it say? That you are going to convert the value of this into HTML, and this is going to be the format. So the data that you saw here in XML format, it has been put in HTML format and it is being displayed in this way, right? So this is the use of XSLT. Now, let me just refresh it. Let's see if it is completed. Yeah. So I got the output files, guys. Let me show you. See, this is my output.xml. So if I just click on this, I'll get it. And when I try to open it, it should give me the data in XML format. Right. So this is the data that I have, that this is for version 34, and this is the data. Now, from where I'll get the complete data, I'll show that as well to you. This is my worker.xsd. If I open it, or let me just show it to you. It will not open like that. You will have to use a particular option. Let's say, okay, I don't have a Notepad++. I'll use Notepad. You see, the data comes in this way. Now, it is not possible for anybody to read, right? That becomes the biggest problem. If it was a Notepad++, let me see. Yeah, still I tried to put it in a wrap, right? So this is coming in this format. So it becomes very difficult for anybody to read it. But for a system, system in the sense, for another third-party system, it is not difficult. So if you look into this zip file, right? So this zip file will have multiple files attached to it. Okay, let's wait. It's still downloading. Right. See, this is the get worker current request. Now here, you will have still some idea that, okay, this is for the parameters, what are the information that was required, you can put it here. And the date launch parameters, if you see, this is for 12/4/2022. So you don't have much of data on that particular day. But if you look at from the start date when the data came in, you will have a lot of data, right? So this is the use of core connector. Okay. So this is your output and this is how the core connector works. But let's say I have to go ahead and build the document transformation. What will I do? Because my vendor says, no, I don't want it in XML. I want it in a different system. So then comes 2-3 more steps. So first step for that is, how do you build the document transformation? Then how do you combine the document transformation and the core connector, which was earlier built? And then how do you run them together? So this is what we are going to see next. Okay, so let's build our, give me a minute, I'll open a duplicate tab. So here also we are going to build an integration system only, but the template that we selected is not going to be core connector anymore. What we are going to do is, there is a template for transformation, which is given by Workday. Create integration system. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create WDE7 underscore core connector underscore DT. DT stands for document transformation. And I'm going to select that particular template. So this has very less services available. It would have only 4. If you just look at it, you see I got error and alert because it has only 4 services. First is document attachment, transformation, integration, document retention. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure the integration again. The same error you have got here. If I just click on that error and show it to you, you see the integration system has a document attachment service which is not configured. So you have to configure that, and then says there is a sequence generator which you want to use, you can. That's the reason you have alert. But first, let me go ahead and get the error resolved. So what I'll do, configure the integration attachment service. So what do we do in this attachment? What do we put in this attachment? So this attachment will consist of this XSLT code. So you want to convert that into a specific format, you can build it. You can write that code. So if you know how to write that code, you can easily do it. So I have a sample already in the system. Let me see if it is available. Yes, this is the one. Right? So sample.xsl, and I'll go ahead and click on OK. Still, I will have alert. Okay, alert I can ignore. That is fine. So my integration attribute has that code now. Okay. Now what I have to do, I have to do 2 more things here. What? I go back to integration system, and then I have to configure the integration attribute. Why do I need to configure the integration attribute? Because the output which is going to come from this file is a XML, and then the transformation which I am building, the code has to run on this output file, right? So for this document transformation, I need an input tag, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that output document, which I have put here, right? So this was the file that comes here, output document, guys, output.xml, right? So you see this output document, I can just open it, export to Excel. You see this document. You get the data. So here you had that document available. So what will happen in this? If I want this to be in Excel, I could have gone it from there. But if I don't need it in Excel, I need it in some other format, then I will have to write this document transformation. I don't have any other option left with me. So I have put that output document as an input for this transformation. Now I will go ahead and click on OK. My work is done. The only thing left now is I'll go back to this integration. I'll have to search it. The reason is this is the process, WDE7 underscore core connector underscore core connector worker. Now I have to link the transformation and the integration, the core connector that we have done. Why do I need to link it? What is the reason? Because the output which is coming in XML, on that I have to run the transformation. So unless I link both, I'll not be able to run both of them together. How do I link it? I link it with the help of a business process. So in this section, I will not choose any type. If you see, I don't have any type here. I'll use none of the above and go ahead and click on OK and configure integration. So if you see B is a service, fire integration. Then I have to add that step C and put that integration. So here I'm going to select that integration. I hope it does not log me out. Let's see. Okay, there's already one created. All right, so that got created. I'll have to see if it allows me to edit. It does not. Let me see. Okay, I'll clone it. All right, guys, I'll clone it. And I'll make one copy. And let's see if then it allows me. Cloning means I'm making a copy of it. That's it. And let me see if it allows me to create or not. I hope it allows me. Yeah. Okay. I hope it does not get refreshed, because in real-time system, you will never face this challenge. Okay. So order C. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to bring in an integration, guys. Okay. So what is that integration? I have to put that integration. It does not give me that option. I don't know why. But what would happen here, guys, that this integration name I have to put in here. So unless I have that, I will, let me click on OK. It will give me again an error. It is other way of doing it. Okay, that the configuration is not yet complete. Now I will be able to configure the integration. Okay. Now it will ask me which is that integration you want to add here. So I'll put WD7_CC_DT, because document transformation is what I need to run along with this integration, right? So that is my next step. Now this integration is basically complete. I have got my core connector. So this is my CCW1 now. Okay. So WD7_CC_CCW1. No, we'll not use CCW anymore because there is an error in that and it is not allowing me to edit. Right. This is the one. Now everything is fine. My core connector is ready. And I have my documentation, document transformation, which also I have linked it with this. So as per the document, let's see, what have we done up till now? So we did build a core connector. How do we link with external system that I have explained to you? Then what did we do? We build a document transformation, integration system, name of the integration, put the document transformation. Then you see, go to integration system, configure the integration attachment service that we added the XSLT file. Then the integration system configure the integration attribute, and then you have the output document. This should be linked with the input document tag. And then what will happen? You will have to link your core connector to the document transformation. So how do we do that? Go to core connector, go to business process, create copy or link definition, select none of the above, put a step C and then add integration. And then it will ask you to configure integration system, add the document transformation that we created. Finally, when you have to run the integration, the same step, go to integration, go to launch and click it. That's what we are going to do now. Go to the section, go to integration and launch it. Now this will take definitely a long time, and we don't have a SLA for this, guys. So that also you should all remember that we don't have a SLA. SLA basically means that it can come at any point of time, but it will give you the, let's say I'm getting the data from first, and then I'll go ahead and click on OK. I'll put the complete file. Now this will take its own sweet time. You don't see the processing or anything here. If you scroll it down, you will see here. Okay, so it will take some time. It will automatically refresh and you will get a notification here that your integration is completed. So this is the step. This is how you go ahead and build a core connector.